Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Morning. Yes, I can hear you.
Right.
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
Well, getting off to a fine start here. And I think it's uh, pretty cold here. If in Anchorage, we have, it's been below zero for a few days. And then now it's a little warmer. But eh, I don't know. I haven't been out in it very much. So, yeah. Who do we have here?
Star from Sherwood Park, Alberta.
Oh, okay.
And Derek from Seattle. It's warm and wet here, 40s.
Yeah, usual. I used to live in Seattle. I went to University of Washington, so I know what it's like to live there.
Cool. Can you hear us? It looked like you had some audio trouble. There's another person here, but I don't think their mic's working. Maybe, so they might just be listening.
Okay. I hope you can hear us. We hopefully we'll get some more students. I know day after New Year's, probably people are still traveling. Anyway, I think it's interesting to what I got from the as an elder, I got a packet from Kunkataida. It had a lot of jam in it, and one of the jellies that they had was spruce tip. Oh, and I've never ever heard of of eating spruce tips. It's a very familiar taste. Well, maybe I tasted it before. I don't know, but uh, does anybody know uh, how that? I don't know the history of spruce tips for eating.
I don't either, but when I was at Cloakland School before, one of the other teachers there, she would pick the spruce tips with students, and they would eat them. And it seemed like something that her family had done for a while, maybe. And
Hmm.
I know some beers are brewed with spruce tip as well around here, around Alaska.
Hmm. Yeah, my parents never ever mentioned it or collected any, so I was just wondering what the history of it was, and uh, it seems to be used a lot. And I got some uh, some jars before uh, from the Sea Alaska store, so that was my first introduction to somebody uh, gave me another gift, and it was um, salmonberry, salmonberry jelly. And salmonberries don't grow in Anchorage. I don't know if they grow in Seattle. I don't think I've ever saw any when I was there.
We have a lot of salmon berries out in the woods. You won't find them in the city, like the blackberries. But if you go on a hike, you'll see salmon berries all over.
Oh yeah, that's great. Because I kind of thought it was only available in the southeast, but I know those blackberries were everywhere when I was there. Um, we used to pick some to snack on. Yeah,
Yeah, they're still everywhere.
yeah, they grow everywhere, don't they?
Oh yeah, can't keep them back.
Yeah, the blackberries that was there were was really a big crop of them just outside our houses uh, in the university campus, and so we took a walk uh, on a nice sunny day, and we were walking around, and I saw all these berries, a big clump of them. And I walked over. I said, "Wow, look at these big berries!" And I started picking and eating, and I heard something on the other side of the bush, and I thought, "What? Nobody's there." And I I looked and I stretched my neck, and about the same time, this rat decided to see who was on the other side, and we scared each other. The rat ran, and I ran screaming. So it was he was picking berries, and I started to pick berries too. That's one thing. I actually dream about picking berries. Of course, being blind now, I, I I don't think I can manage it, but I dream a lot about picking berries on the hillside. Strangely enough, I think I always dream about it for Juno on the hillside. And I'd see these raspberries, and I'd start to pick the raspberries, and lo and behold, there's salmon berries, and then further on, there's blueberries, and I'm just going crazy. It's all in my dream. All the berries don't come together like that, but okay. Did we have uh, anybody else join in? Okay. One of the things that we were working on last month was the native names, and that's quite important for the class because we need to start using it. And uh, some people know their native names, or they just don't have a native name. In that case, what I have my students do is pick a nickname for the class so that you use it in class, and it's not a permanent name. So we can do that if it's all right with you. If you're a little bit squeamish about doing that, we need to correspond by email and find out what we can do. You can pick something that you really like. I had one guy that was really proud of his collection of hats, so he called himself My Hats in Tlingit. And another one was a skier, so called her Skis. And another one that wanted to. There was one girl that she said her grandmother gave her a name, which was Tlatzin, which is strength. I thought that was really a neat name. So, and in high school, I had one student, we were talking about names, and he said, I want to be called Porcupine. Everybody looked at him. He said his grandmother called him her little porcupine because his hair stuck straight up when he was a baby. So we called him Porcupine. So things like that, names that your family uses, you can do that if you want. If you don't have one, um, but and if you know your name, then please will be using it. My name is, for those of you that don't know me, is Shaksani Keek. Shaksani Keek. I happen to know somebody else that's called Shaksani. But my name was given to me by Jenny Conant. That was her name, a famous weaver. But unfortunately, I don't know how to weave. I tried, but I'm not a weaver. So did we have anybody new join in? We only have three. Are you still there?
Those of you who joined and someone rejoined, they had audio problems. Could you all just say hi really quick? I believe that was Star, Kua, and Edna.
Oh, Edna, yeah, okay. Good morning.
Okay, Sutat. This is Kasyat Ayachat Edna
Ed,
in English terms, Edna. But Kasyat is my Tlingit name, given to me by my grandmother. And it was her mother's name. So she called me mom a lot. My grandma called me mom.
My name is Star, and when I was born, my mom, who isn't native, my father is native, and my mother thought she was going to name me Morning Star, but I was born in the afternoon. So because that is what she chose, I think I'd like to have Morning Star be my name for here. And I think that might be Sutate Kuts Eanaha, but I'm not sure. So correct me if I am wrong.
Putayanaha, Putayanaha,
And it's
Tutat, Tutat, Putayanaha.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good morning, Happy New Year. My grandma called me Kua, and so I'd like to be called Kua. And I wanted to ask you, is that a Tlingit name? Because I'm not sure if that's my Tlingit name or she just nicknamed me Kua.
I don't know, Kua.
Okay, perhaps she just called me as a nickname, but
That
I'm
was,
happy to be here, and I'm really glad that you're doing this class gathering again.
yeah,
Thank you for your time.
okay, gonna teach. Yeah.
How would you say something like, hello, my name is?
We don't say hello. You say Kua Yuhatu Asak. And that's something we're going to learn how to say because some of the students already knew how to say it, so um, it should be fairly easy with people helping each other. And teaching by Zoom is a little bit beyond me. I went to college in the dark ages, so but one of the things that Corey and I were talking about was we can do the breakout rooms. That way you have fewer students to talk to each other. And so that'll be good for practicing. So it seems to me like Kua is I'd have to be sure. Let me think about that one because it might be just a nickname.
Gnastish.
Uh,
I got something to say on this for a second. There's kind of two ways to do it. The more formal way to talk about a name, you would say like for me I would say like Corey Sayi. Sa is the word for name. So Sayi is the possessive form of like meaning it's my name. Um, or you could say that about a Lingit name. The thing that I typed in chat that we said a minute ago, what I was taught, I did a class with Richard Dowenhauer. He said that means I am known as, or I am repeatedly called, whatever the name is kind of what that means. So my understanding is that that sentence means people call me, or I am known as this. So I could say like Corey, you and that I'm not stating that that's my name, but I'm saying that's what people call me. So there's kind of different ways to talk about names, depending on the circumstances.
yeah, yeah. It's one of the more important things that people want, the older people want to know about you is who you are. So they're curious, uh, and usually some of them will even say, could you tell me who you are? And they don't mean just your name, but your background, if you know it, where you're from, and so you might even be related to the elder that you're trying to talk to. So never know. and and if did you say Kua was your grandmother called you that, or?
Yes, that's correct. When I was raised by my grandma. She called me Kua, but she's already passed, so I'm not able to ask her, is that my official name? I've been told that's, oh yes, that's a Tlingit name, but I haven't yet to confirm that.
Yeah. You could say my grandmother always called me Kua, you know. So
Okay, Glenathish.
people might even know what it means. Right now, I can't. I can't. I don't want to attempt right now.
Glenathish.
Is there anybody else that want to share?
Sure, I can go. I've been trying to figure out I was given a name. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it was. I was looking through some dictionaries and stuff, and I believe it's the man above is what the English translation is. And I think Ka Akinak is what I've found in the dictionary for it is pretty close, and that's pretty close to what I've been told as well, but nobody knew exactly. I've just kind of gotten like sounds kind of like this kind of things back. But that's as close as I can find. But it was given to me by my great uncle Walter Sobola.
Oh, wow. Akina. Is it Ha Akina?
Yeah, so, something like that. Yeah, it's pretty close, I think.
Yeah. I would tend to say the opposite. Akina Ka.
It would normally go the other way if spoken.
Yeah. Well, that's what comes to my mind when it's more descriptive of the man.
I think what the anglicized version that I was told of it was Kakina, but that doesn't sound correct to what I've been able to find. So it does seem like that is the order that it's in, the man first, as far as I can find.
Okay. You know, we want to make sure that you keep your identity, and so if it's getting to the edge where we're beginning to change it, you better speak up, because everybody, you know, should be protective of your name and the way you know it, the way you've been called by your family members or the person that gave it to you. So, but it's just an impulse I have from hearing that. Sounds good. Yeah. Anybody else? I hope that we will be getting a lot more people back, maybe when the traveling is over. But we should do some review of the vowels. That's really important to me as a teacher, and I get, maybe I'm just too. I'm not real strict, but I noticed right away, even the English speakers, the way I was taught to read the English language, and I'm surprised about reporters that constantly really go off the deep end saying things wrong, like important is the word comes to mind. They tend to say important, put an E instead of an I. So those kind of things. And so I notice it in Lingit, and because Vesta Dominic from Cake, even though I was a speaker, traditional speaker, I couldn't spell or write. So she was teaching writing, Tlingit writing, and was she ever strict about the vowels? So I learned a lot from her uh, about uh, about working hard on those vowels to get them right. So that we have 8 vowels, and we have 4 vowels that is pretty difficult because they're really short and abrupt. Single letters. A single letter A is very short. Single letter A, double A, that one's easy because it's a little more natural. Single letter A, double A, single letter I, eh. Never changes, always the same. Single letter I, E-I, A. So single letter A, double A, single letter I, single letter I, E-I, A. Single letter E, eh, single letter E, eh. Single letter E, eh. Double E, E. Single letter A, ah. Double A, ah. Single letter I, eh. E, I, A. Single letter E, eh. Single letter E, eh. Double E, E. Single letter U, Single letter U, Single letter U, Double O, ooh. Single letter A, ah. Single letter I, eh. Single letter E, eh. Single letter U, So keep those in mind because we do have a lot of letters in our alphabet, but the neat thing about it is they never change. The sounds never change. So in the classroom, I usually really drill on the vowels to the point where the students are saying, "When are we going to stop studying the vowels?" As soon as I can hear you using it regularly, and so like you use it the right way, then we stop drilling. So the single letter I, eh, we can use it to apply to, say, ish, his father, or your father, ish, your father, ish, your father, ach, ax underline, ach, ish, my father, ach, ish, ish, your father, ach, ish, my father, ach, ish, my father, du, ish, his or her father, du, ish, his or her father, ish, your father, ach, ish, my father, du, ish, his or her father, ha, ish, our father. So you need to be aware that the I always, when we use it to refer to another person we're talking to, is I and ach. Any of those more difficult letters apply to us. Du is kind of an interesting word. It also is the exact same word in German and means exactly the same thing. Du. You're talking about him or her. You're not talking specifically about somebody, but you're saying, oh yeah, his father or her father. So it's comes out to. Any comments or questions on that one? Um, we can do chat if you would rather. I can't see it, but Corey can help. The other two letters that I don't usually teach the alphabet, just like you. In grade school, you learn A, B, C, D, F, G, just as we come to it. But the ones that are thought are important, two letters that are quite important because they're really different. The L is a silent letter. And for practice, just practice your tongue, tip of your tongue behind your top teeth, and let the air come out the sides of your tongue. Just air, no sound. Lingit. Lingit. That's what we call ourselves. We're Lingit. We study Lingit language. Lingit. Lingit. And it's very common in Gunas cheese. So when you say Gunas cheese, I want to hear that L. Some people try to get by saying Guna cheese. I need to hear that L. I'm blind, but I can hear. So keep that in mind and practice it. You can practice on your own and talk to yourself. And it's kind of a funny thing to say, but it's important to say the word and to be able to hear yourself saying it so that you know you're getting it right until it becomes more natural. So, goodness, cheese, goodness, cheese, goodness, cheese, goodness, cheese. Your voice goes up on the cheese. If it didn't have a tone mark, it would be goodness, cheese, just monotone. But your voice goodness, cheese, voice goes up on the end. That's where the tone marks are. Tone marks appear only on vowels. So let's start watching for that. The other letter I think is important is because it's really difficult when you see it. Your brain is trained to acknowledge that you see the letter, but you need to change that thinking that when you see the W, it applies to the letter, the consonant letter before it. So it's really important that you don't say the letter. You don't say it. All it tells you is what you need to do with your lips. So yuchadua saak, SAAKW, yuchadua saak. There's a tendency to put the W before the K. Yuchadua sauk. So be careful about that, because once you learn it, it's hard to unlearn the wrong method. Yuchadua sauk. The W serves the same purpose that it does in the English language. You purse your lips when you're going to use it. You hatu sa. So I hope you can see me. My face is not that important, but you need to see my mouth. So if you can't, then we need to, I'll have Alan adjust the camera so you can see me. Because that's what I want you to pay attention to when I say the words. Are there any comments or questions at this point?
None at the moment, thank you.
Okay. Okay, I don't know if you're writing. I used to like to get the students to write the words as we go, so that later on I don't have to teach you how to write. If you're using your computer, and you put down the words I tell you, so that you can practice, or if you can record me or go back to this class and listen to the recording. But the the question that I want you to study today is one that is used in the village, and of course I have to tell you that in the village, you knock on somebody's door. You don't wait for them to say, come in or come to the door to see who it is, you know. You just knock and open the door and say, hello. Or sometimes you go in and there's nobody there at all. You just back out and go back out. But what we're going to learn today is what you say. Write this down. Double A D double O with a tone mark on the first O. And I'm not sure if I need to repeat myself, but we don't use the Downhowers didn't provide to adopt the quotation marks, question mark, or exclamation point, period, or anything. So we don't use it in the Lingit language. The question mark comes in the middle of the word, middle of the phrase. So if you have do, sa is where the question mark is. It's SA with a tone mark on the A. Do, sa. Last word, do, sa, we. W-E with a tone mark. No period, no question marks, nothing, just the phrase. The question mark is on sa. Do, sa, we. Do, sa, we. Who is it? Do, sa, we. Do, sa, we. Who is it? We hardly ever say that in the village, because a lot of times by the time you start to say it, they'll already be in the door. But for purpose of practicing this, we want to do that. Do sawe. Who is it? Then you say your Lingit name. Shaksani kik aya. Shaksani Keek. Yeah. So it's a single A, a Y, and a single A with a tone mark. Say, this is Shirley. This is Shaksani Keek. So you fill in your Lingit name, say Aya. Say somebody asks you who is it? You say Shaksani Keek Aya. So I think it's a tone mark on both A's, the A-Y-A. Yeah,
Yeah,
put
way.
a tone mark on both of them. So let's, since there's so few of us, let's try this talking to each other. I'll knock and you guys ask Adu Saya. Adu Sawe. Adu Sawe. Who is it? Let's try that. Can we try saying it together? Adu Sawe.
So,
Adusawe.
Adusawe.
That's
Adusawe.
that's good.
Could you please spell Aya?
Yeah. Single A, Y, single A. Tone mark on both A's.
Gunachish.
The first A brings emphasis to the word, and then yeah is like the space around you. I'm trying to pull up right now. There's a spatial chart. I'll put on screen here in a minute when I find it.
Okay. Okay. I tend to think that the tone marks usually make it like a happy, positive phrase. So let's try this. I'll knock and you ask me, I'll do so what? I always say yeah, which means who is this? It, in a different way. I do say yeah, and you're asking somebody who is this, but I do so where and who is it is different. Okay. Did we get that right? That you have to read it, Corey, because I can't see it.
I had it on screen, but it's not letting me switch my options. So hang on, I got to redo it. I couldn't unmute myself. I found the spatial relation in place because what we're talking about. I'll put it on screen again. But Zoom's not being very user friendly. There we go. So yeah, this is a big thing when you're talking about things. It's in relation to the actual space or distance from the person speaking. That's where we get some of these words like a yeah and a we, things like that. And there's other ways to use them. Let me go back for a second. Actually, I don't know if it'll let me. So this little drawing on screen kind of shows that. So yeah is something that's in the space of the speaker, something it's you or something you can reach. It's right there. Um, Something that's a little bit farther away would be heh. Something that's kind of in your vicinity, but you would have to walk to it would be weh. So another common word is a weh. And then something that's far away you would have to travel to is this last form of distance, which is y. So these are used in conjunction with other sounds, oftentimes talking about things. I'll scroll down where it has kind of a more of a description of each word here on screen. So I always remember that saying a ya means this, so something on me, something around me, and away means something away from me, something over there. If I'm speaking to someone across the room, I would say away. And those are two really common words that we use and you can get.
Yeah. Is that from Lance Twitchell?
Uh, yeah, yeah, this is from his beginning Shinget book. There's a drawing of like a figure, a person, and there's kind of a circles around them, like a grid that kind of shows these distances a little bit. But then on screen, I have there's more of a description. It talks about it a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the tone marks. Can you tell us about the tone marks?
So all of these are high tone, and like you said before, saying a ya or a weh, that sound, that's also high tone.
Yeah.
So the first vowel and the second vowel would both have a high tone.
Yeah.
A ya, a weh.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's true, but that always sounds like it's more positive sound, light sounding. So, mm. Okay, let's give it a try. I'll do we. I'll do we. I'll do we. Who is it?
Adu sa weh.
Shaksadi Kik Aya. So, okay. Guys are ready. I'm going to knock and you ask, who is it?
I'm gonna
Nobody.
turn off the screen share for a second, just so you don't have to see me scroll through. I'm gonna look for the questions, so I'll put it back on in a moment. There's a lot here on screen now. but the one we're looking at, I don't know if I can highlight it, is just here. Adu. So yeah, asking questions in Tlingit is different in English because these words like sa or these variations are used. These are what makes what you're saying a question rather than like the tone. That was something that I learned. Like in English, when you ask a question, there's kind of the way you speak, the way you say a sentence kind of forms that question. So you could make some things a question that might not sound like a question. I kind of just did it on accident there. But in Shinge, you wouldn't do that. You don't do that kind of tone in your voice. Like, who is that? You don't really change your voice like that. You would just say like, who is that, in just kind of that straight manner, because the words you're using are what make it the question. So it's not the way you say it, it's what you're actually saying, what you're stating.
Yeah.
Adu sawe. So that would be a question. Whereas if I said that in like an English way, I would say like adu sawe. My voice kind of goes up and it makes that question. We don't do that in Shinget language.
I think Adusaya is an interesting one. If you put it on your phone, it would be interesting for people to react to it. Just think of the collectors that's trying to call you. And you say, Adusaya. They'd be busy looking in the dictionary to see the language. Okay, do we have time to practice anything?
I'm sorry, I forgot to remind you of the time. We have 6 minutes left.
Yeah, let's give it a try to knock and introduce ourselves. Okay. So I'll start, and then whoever wants to can give it a try. Nobody home.
Adu sawe.
Kua ea. Kua ea.
Kua, you didn't
Adu
knock.
sawe.
Kua, you need to knock first.
Oh. Knock knock.
Do so. What? All together.
Adu sawe.
Adu sawe.
Adu sawe.
Okay, Kua, now answer. Kua.
Kua ea.
That's good.
Goodness chief.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Do so.
Adu sawa.
Adu sawe.
Kutse anaha ea.
The cheese.
Shirley, I have a question. Would we just say a ya, or would we say a yachat for this?
No, you're saying it's me. I'm here. Ayahat is
Yadu chat.
yeah, it's different. Yaduchat is if they call your name. Like they say Shaksani Kik and like a roll call, I say Yaduchat. I'm right here. I'm present. Okay, anybody else want to knock on our door?
Knock knock.
I'll do so.
Adu sawe.
Adu sawe.
Way.
Katyat aya.
Yak e gonna cheese.
Knock knock.
Do so way.
Adusa.
Adusawe.
Ka akim knock. Aya.
Yak e gonna cheese. Is that everybody now? Guk Koi.
Knock knock.
Do so.
Do so way.
Skunk aya.
E gonna cheese. So that's only the beginning because it will we will learn to add some more phrases as we go. So for now, it sounds really good, and I'm glad we were able to go over aya and awe because it's that distance really tells us a lot. So we need to be watchful over that. So Adusaya, and it's like you're saying, who's this? You're talking about somebody that's right there. So you have a friend with you, and this Adusaya, and you need to introduce your friend. Adusawa, and it's you don't know who it is, or outside the door, or somebody calling or something. Yeah, it sounds good.
If I could make just a brief kind of closing comment about this, when I'm in my room and my door is closed, my dog scratches at the door to come in, and I say Adusawa, and she scratches again, and I say, "Oh, Foxy, is that you?" And she answers by scratching. So I let her in. So I have been practicing it with
You
my
know,
dog.
my mother always assumed that animals can understand Lingit. She always talked to them as if they did, and they always seemed to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a dog, and we took him to berry picking. It's always nice to have a dog, and he was afraid, and he kept uh, getting close to my mom, like, oh, like, oh, what's going to happen, Finally, my mom got tired and sat down, and she took the dog. Always talk face to face, and she told him, the reason that we brought you is all in Tlingit. She always talks Tlingit. The reason we brought you is for you to make a lot of noise. You should be running back and forth, chasing squirrels and birds. That's what you're supposed to do. And guess what? The dog started running, chasing squirrels and barking at the birds and running around. And it just amazes me that, you know, she just assumed they know the language. So talking to them. So don't be bashful in talking to your cat or your dog. They learn. It's kind of interesting. They do learn. Okay, are we out of time?
Yep.
Yeah. So, um, okay, let's when we get together on Thursday and greet any new people, we want to start adding to the to the knock knock, so that it's not just knock knock and enter. The I want to start telling you about how it is to say to come in, but I think we better just take a break and call it a day, and we'll see you on Thursday. Gonna teach